Breaking news, flames lick the sky over Belfast like a dragon's revenge. 114 souls twisted in agony on hospital gurneys, and £91 million in taxpayer gold reduced to smoldering skeletons. Britain isn't protesting anymore. It's unraveling at the seams, thread by furious thread. November 5th, 2025, 8:42 p.m. The Union Jack doesn't flutter proud tonight. It writhes in the inferno, a funeral pyre for a promise broken. Picture this. 37 migrant hotels, government-funded fortresses of faux hospitality, torched across Northern Ireland like birthday candles on a cake nobody wants. Over 100,000 voices roar from the streets, not just in Belfast's bruised heart, but spilling into London's fog-choked alleys, Derry's defiant hills, Antrim's quiet corners, Newcastle's shipyard shadows. This is the biggest civil storm to batter Britain since the poll tax pitchforks of '90. And Westminster? Stone-cold silent, fiddling while the empire frizzles. If you're hungry for the raw, unfiltered gut punch the suits in suits won't touch, smash that subscribe, because this bonfire of vanities is about to singe your soul. The targets? Oh, honey, they're surgical strikes in a war of wallets. These aren't random bonfires for bored teens. No, these are the gleaming shells of asylum seeker sanctuaries, bloated on £189 per head per night from your pocket. Take the crown jewel in Lisburn, £7.8 million a year funneled into its velvet cushions, courtesy of shadowy contracts inked under the last regime. Tonight, it's a blackened husk, windows weeping shards like crocodile tears for the cash it devoured. Cut to High Street Haven in Belfast's gut, home to 230 dreamers dodging deportation. Riot shields glint like dragon scales as flames feast on the facade. Fire crews, bless their soot-streaked brows, tally 19 deliberate arsons in 24 hours flat. Derry's docks? A pyre party. Lisburn's lanes? Inferno improv. Ballymunis backstreets? Battle-scarred inferno. Every postcode's a powder keg, every spark a scream against the system. Zoom in on Sophie Mallory, 28, nurse by trade, fury by firelight. She's hunkered outside her East Belfast flat, rain lashing her like a guilty conscience, phone aloft, live streaming to a swarm of 3.2 million digital disciples in 6 hours flat. My rent's up 41%. That's not inflation, that's insult. She spits, voice of velvet blade cracking on the edge of tears. They slash my hospital beds, ghost my pension pot. But hey, golden showers for strangers? £189 a night to play hotel heiress while I bunk with mates. She swings the lens to the horizon's hellish halo, orange fury painting the clouds. The comments? A coliseum of commiseration. Sophie's got more spine than Starmer's spine. One quips. Burn it all, start with the contracts. The algorithm's drooling. The anger's infectious. Sophie's not a solo act in this tragedy. Enter Thomas Reed, 72, pensioner with a chest full of medals and a heart half-hollowed. He shuffles past the crown jewel's corpse, Union Jack slung over shoulders like a superhero's cape gone rogue. Eyes misty as the morn mist, voice steady as the shipyards he once welded. I lost a lung to the Falklands fog, he growls to the gaggle of gobsmacked journos buzzing like flies on farce. Bled for this blue and red beast. Now, it bleeds us dry for ballot box brownie points. Sky News scarfs it up by sundown, BBC beats it on loop. Because this isn't peak, it's a pensioner's palaver, a veteran's vow snapped like dry tinder. Crowd chanting, "Where's Westminster? Where's Westminster?" The echo bounces off Big Ben like a bad joke nobody's laughing at. But Westminster? It's a Westminster whisper fest, all tea and tiptoeing. 9 p.m. A leaked Home Office memo slithers out, 217 pages stamped, eyes only, the digital equivalent of a diplomatic do not disturb. Buried in Para 3, like a cyanide capsule in candy. Northern Command, assets at 112% capacity. Reserves mobilized. Contingency Alpha engaged, troop surge tabled for ministerial nod. That nod never nods. By 10:27 p.m., The hesitation hits hurricane force. London's Parliament Square? A tidal wave of 12,000 ticked-off torchbearers crashes the gates. Barricades? Buckle like cheap corsets. Fences? Flatten faster than a politician's principles. Tear gas blooms like toxic tulips. First deployment since the 2011 payday pandemonium. On the ground embeds paint the pandemonium. Thud, thud, thud. Boots on cobble. Batons on bone. Bodies on brink. It's the pulse of a patient flatlining. 10:45 p.m. Downing Street dribbles a statement. 3 limp lines of leadership light. PM decries the discord. Civic serenity supreme. Convo crucial. Convo? That's code for cowardice, darling. Dialogue croaked when the first fuse fizzled. When Sophie's shifts stretched sans pay. When Thomas's tricare turned to tricks. Behind the oak doors, the spook squad's sweating bullets. MI5's Belfast bunker monitors 52 cipher streams. Ghost networks herding hordes from 6 cities strong. Channels hop like fleas on fentanyl, mods masked in VPN veils, missives melting on midnight clocks. Drones over the DeLorean district? Jammed twice in half an hour, courtesy of some savant with a soldering iron. Colerane's cell spires? Charred confetti. A midnight cabinet crib sheet, smuggled to the Guardian like contraband caviar. Perimeter porous. Sentiment seismic. Advise all-in intervention or brace for bedrock breach. Bedrock breach. Bureaucraties for the big one. The unravel where rulebook meets rubble, midnight tolls, and the contagion creeps. Not on cobblestones, but code. Hashtag Britain Burns blazes across feeds. 64 million impressions in a dozen hours. Outpaces the 24-vote circus. Eclipses Her Majesty's hearse parade. This ain't a tag. It's a title turn. Viral vignettes. Coppers kneeling to the keening crowd. Captions crooning. Badges for the broken, not the brass. Helmets off in homage. Tears tracking through tear gas. The blue wall? It's weeping, warping, wondering. If we flip the script, who's scripting the sequel? Dawn drags in the dollar's dirge. Consumer cred craters 8% overnight. £1.2 billion vaporized from high street hives in one frenzied footsie flutter. Belfast to Blighty bolt bookings balloon 46%. When your own flock flocks to foreign fields for a flicker of felicity, stats stop being spreadsheets. They're stethoscopes on a sinking ship. November 6th, 11:55 a.m. Westminster's wood-paneled war room. Spotlight stab like accusatory fingers. Keir Starmer, the man who promised dawn but delivered dusk, strides to the lectern, one foolscap folio flapping like a white flag of defeat. National Equilibrium Epistle. It whispers in fine print. He hacks a cough, intones the incantation. My ministry mourns the melee in the north, upholds our union's unyielding umbilical. Zilch on the £2.4 billion asylum ARC deals. 11,000 emails eviscerated in a routine refresh. Wink wink. Nada on Sophie's sobs, Thomas's thorns, the 5 fiscal flares ignored from the fringes. Just sedative syntax, lulling the lions to lambs. Hackpack hounds howl from the hind rows. Keir, kill the camp contracts? Knee-deep in Belfast? Own this odyssey. He pivots. He ghosts. Feed fades to felony. BY dusk on the 6th. The ledger's a laceration. 142 bashed and bandaged. 53 snared in cuffs. £91 million in pyre payouts. 27 peelers in plaster. Polls? Public faith in the firmament. 22%. A nadir nastier than Nixon's. Overseas outlets? They dub it Starmer's Starfall. A Brussels backroom baron blurts to Reuters. Blimey used to bottle blitz spirit. Now it's bottling breakdowns. CNN croons unsteerable scepter? Al Jazeera jabs crownless chaos? The globe gawks as the scepter smokes. But peel back the pandemonium, past the pixelated pyres, and here's the hook you won't hook on telly. In Belfast's belly lanes, where spotlights shy, a subtler script unfolds. Foes from the fray forge fragile pacts. A tattooed trot-eye tosses a thermos to a trembling trekker from Tehran. No lens leers. No lawmaker lifts a digit. Just jagged edges jamming together like a puzzle from perdition. At St. Bride's by the Boneyard, a hush descends. Volunteers, Vatican to Viking blood, ignite icons for the iced. Each wick whispers, we're woven wounds and all. Eileen O'Toole, teacher turned torchbearer, tiptoes to the crown jewels cremains. Chalk in chapped hand, she scribes on the scar. Mercy mends what malice mangles. By brew time, it's beamed to billions, like slap it up, shares surge past Starmer's soliloquy.
Why?
Cause in the blazes bellow. We bank on the bomb, not the barb, but wait. Plot twist, the cover-up caper that could curdle cream. 2:17 a.m. on the 7th, a whistleblower's whisper. Ex-Home Office hack named Lena Voss vectors 11,000 archived artifacts to WikiLeaks. Not glitches, gang. Granular graft. £2.4 billion in no-bid bonanzas to cronies' caravans, firms fronted by Starmer's shadowy second cousin, twice removed. Emails eviscerated? Nah. Exiled to Estonian servers, tagged foreign fiddle. Blame game? Kremlin keyboard cowboys, they crow, while Voss vanishes into witness protection. Leaks light the fuse anew. Protests pulse to Parliament's pulse, 50,000 strong by noon. Banners blaze, resign, you rent-seekers. Flares flare like fallen stars. Tear gas tangos with the throng. Smoke shrouds the spires like a shroud of shame. Escalation? It's exponential. Curfews clamp commons by cocktail hour. 11 p.m. blackout. Boots on the beat tripled. But the gallery? A geriatric guerrilla front. Thomas Reed and 200 wrinkle warriors wheel in, wheelchairs as war wagons. We stormed Normandy beaches. Now we storm this sandpit. One wheezes, met with MPs' murmurs turning to mayhem. Shouts shatter the session. Betrayal. Bribery. Bloody cover-up. The speaker's gavel? A gnat's slap. Cabinet cracks. 3 underlings unclip badges by bedtime, citing conscience conniption. The PM's poise? Powder keg primed. Illusion implodes. Screens in the stranger's gallery flicker Voss's dossiers, redacted receipts, rubber-stamped rip-offs. Chaos cascades, fistfights in the front bench, filibusters forgotten. The House howls like a hound off the leash. Silence, then a slow clap building to thunderous applause from the public pens. And, in that maelstrom's maw, the reckoning rips through. Not with nukes or edicts, but the nation's nerve endings firing fierce. MPs mid-meltdown hear the human hum. Sophie's stentorian stream, now 12 million strong. Not for me, for my mum's empty fridge. Thomas's timbre, trending timeless. Flags fade, folk endure. The chamber chokes on its own charade. Starmer slinks stage left, successor whispers swirling like Westminster wind. But the real rupture? It's reclamation. Crowds cohere outside, not clawing, but claiming. Petitions pile 4.2 million signatures by sunrise. Audit the arcs, axe the excess. Strangers stitch solidarity. Soup kitchens sprout in scorched squares. Migrants and Mainsiders mending fences with flour and fortitude. Britain, you beautiful brute, born from Boudicca's blaze, forged in Cromwell's crucible, risen from rubble row post-splits. You've scorched before, plague pyres, civil scars, Thatcher thorns. Each scar? Might's the mercy that mocks the melee, the mateship that mends the mess. So, Britain, riot or revelation, ruin or rousing? Are we the conflagration's cruel core, or the caregivers cloaking the cold? The call's yours, carved in comic cauldrons below. Unfiltered, unfake, unforgotten. If you believe truth still matters, subscribe to UK Pancakes and never look away. Thank you for watching.